Welcome, leaders, teams, and those ready to take charge of their energy. It's Kelly Buboltz, your guide in workforce energy management. Burnout is not just a buzzword, it's a symptom of deeper root cause stressors. We're here to stop waiting for the change and start leading it. It's time to reclaim our energy and lead our days with intention and purpose. Let's talk about digital fatigue. It's something that's just so common now, but this normal isn't super healthy. And we were having a discussion in a recent program about workflows and systems, and someone said, I just need less. And it was an interesting thought because where this discussion began is we were talking about how many times we stare at our calendar and we realize we have no breaks in between meetings, in between video calls. And what we came down to when we start looking at the root cause of it as a group, what we found is there's this digital overload and it's silently draining us. It's draining our teams. So we're going to talk about how we manage this energy in back-to-back meetings in this digital fatigue type of era that we're in, because virtual calls are demanding more focus, which means less body language, more screen scanning. You might even be double working. You're in a meeting, but you're actually working on something else on your other screen. We have back-to-back scheduling, which eliminates any transition, any reflection time. You just kind of go through your day in reaction mode. I would go from one meeting where maybe it was high conflict into another meeting that was supposed to be positive and brainstorming. And that cognitive load was like a whiplash to me, that I didn't even have any transition time, reflection time from the first thing, and now I'm dragging it into the next meeting. Have you ever had someone in a meeting that just is grumpy? They're bringing that emotional load in from that previous meeting because they had zero time to reset. So between the virtual calls demanding all our focus, the back-to-back scheduling meetings, and then the always-on culture, always available, and we're mistaking that for productivity, but we're not actually providing value during that whole time. We're just always on. That is the digital fatigue I'm talking about. And the impact of our energy on that is cognitive fatigue, right? We're having lower creativity and not really problem solving. We're just going through the motions every day. And the physical strain, right? Eye strains, headaches, posture issues, the emotional drain that I was talking about, that whiplash. We're having a reduction of patience and empathy. And when you go home at the end of the day, you're exhausted and you feel like nothing really moved forward, but I got about double the amount added to my to-do lists. And what we want to do with this is to start taking control of our schedule again. So it's not so overpacked with digital. It's not so overpacked with meetings. How we're going to do that is switch your 1-hour meetings to 50-minute meetings. Switch your 30-minute meetings to 25-minute meetings. Just a scheduled buffer time to recharge. There was one company that I worked with that was already doing a great job of this, and they have 45-minute meetings. They have 0 60-minute meetings. And I asked why, and they're very client service based. And so a lot of them had to go to client meetings after their team meetings. And you need time to prep for that, right? You need to give some grace and space to reset. You need to get your client notes up to refresh your memory. So they have a max 45-minute meeting limit. And I thought that was so amazing because even if you didn't have a client meeting, you just had another meeting or another thing, it gives you time to buffer. It gives you time to go to the bathroom, right? It's a scheduled buffer, time to recharge. There was another person that I worked with, and his meetings often ran long. So they had 60-minute meetings, and they always ran long. So he would put in his schedule manually a half-hour buffer after each meeting because it would run long. It would run long into the next meeting, or he would never have time to get back to his office to actually work. So he was actually manually scheduling in buffers, which shows you kind of the extra dysfunction, extra drains that come in when people have to manage this. So can you do these scheduled buffer meeting times in which if you need a meeting for an hour, it's actually 50 minutes. If you need a 30-minute meeting, it's actually 25 minutes or 20 minutes. The other thing to think about is walking meetings. So a lot of our meetings are automatically in front of the laptop when maybe they don't need to be. Sometimes when I'm just catching up with a client and I don't need a lot of notes, I'll ask them ahead of time and say, hey, this is around like lunchtime. Why don't you grab lunch? And why don't we go for a walk? Yes, it's still virtual, but we're on the phone. We don't need our cameras on. Let's just go for a walk and talk. Let's talk through what's going on. I've done leadership coaching where we have went on walks, and it really just opens up the conversation when you're moving, when you're outdoors, versus stuck in front of a screen again and having those distractions and notifications come in during the conversation. So can you do phone calls without the video boost? Can you do walking meetings? Can you do standing meetings? The other thing that walking and standing meetings will do is it won't go extra long, because when people are sitting, it tends to drag on. It tends to extend. But when people are standing, they want to keep it short. A lot of people don't want to stand for a long period of time. So that will keep the focus. So can you do walking or standing meetings? Another tip that you could do is replacing meetings with updates. How many meetings could have just been an email? How many meetings could have just been in the system, in the dashboard? So utilize the systems you already have for information flow versus this standing meeting where nothing really needs to be discussed, nothing really needs to be done. We just need updates. Okay, well, that could be in your project management system, your dashboard, or an email. So what meetings can you replace? I have a meeting makeover toolkit for instant download on my website that has some of these tips. It has meeting flow suggestions, agendas. It has an audit to really look at your meetings on where the dysfunction, where some of that productivity is leaking, and helps you reset your meetings 1 hour at a time. So go check that out on my website. Now, another tip I want to talk about is leaders need to model it. Leaders need to model the healthy calendars. Leaders need to block and recharge. Leaders need to show boundaries and how to respect them. Because I would have a boss and they would email at like 6 o'clock at night for something to talk about the next day. And guess what? Even though they say, make sure you shut off, they're emailing me at 6 o'clock at night. So I'm going to respond, because if my bosses email me, I'm going to respond. And that's just how I've been wired. But what they were doing is grooming almost unintentionally this always on type of culture. So if you're going to say, we're going to have healthy boundaries, we're turning off, don't email at night. If you have something that's just on your mind and you need to get it off your mind, do the email and schedule it to go out in the morning. That is a capability in every email system. You can easily do that. So leaders need to model these healthy calendars, the recharge time, and the boundaries. And when leaders start modeling it, it becomes acceptable and it becomes the new expectation. So between reducing your meetings to have a buffer, these walking or standing meetings, replacing meetings with using your dashboards and your systems, and leaders modeling it, you're going to start to see the shift. You're going to start to see small changes compound, reclaiming even 10 minutes at a time, refreshing your focus away from this digital fatigue. So this week, I want you to look at your schedule, shorten or cancel one meeting this week, and see how it impacts your energy. Today's step matters. It's in the micro moments that real change begins. Managing your energy isn't about shame, blame, or disrupting your lifestyle. It's about the small, intentional choices to reclaim that natural energy. If this episode hit the mark for you, share with others. This journey doesn't have to be lost and lonely, but exciting and full of new paths. See you back here to continue the adventure.